At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Yo. What's going on, Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. Twice today. I'm coming at you twice today. And we still got the Wednesday show to do. And we're going to go live twice on Friday. I'm busting my ass for you guys. Only for you. Only for Razorback Nation. That's who I'm doing this for. You awesome, awesome fans, you. Razorbacks get out to a big lead, 18 points in this game. It certainly looked like they were just going to, I don't know, kick the living shit out of Kansas State. And then some things happened. So we're gonna get into that and a little more. You know, is it something to be concerned about, or was it just good adjustments by Kansas State? Do me a favor, like the stream. Of course, you guys know how it be. You know how we be. Like the stream. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Yeah, check out all the links provided for you down below. Shout out to the Sponsors of the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel, direct service overhead, garage door repair and replacement service. My boy Travis Ford, he gets it done. He'll replace your garage door or repair it for you. He operates out of Central Arkansas, like a good chunk of the state, I might add. A good chunk of the state. Central Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas. I almost feel like anywhere there's a garage door, they're there. Direct service overhead. Their link is provided for you down below in the description box. Down there at the description box. Derp to derp. Fumbling over my own words. And, of course, Stated Apparel. Stated Apparel, these guys, they make the softest shirts that are made right here in the fine state of Arkansas. You guys, that's another thing. You get it. I talk about it all the time. I like local sponsors. That's who I want. That's who I want a part of what I do here. I'm not interested. Don't get me wrong. I've got ads. YouTube's going to monetize all my content. I have no power over those, but the direct sponsors, guys like Direct Service Overhead and Stated Apparel, because they're right here in the beautiful state of Arkansas. But again, Stated Apparel, they sell the softest shirts made locally. You can check out their entire inventory at statedapparel.me, or you can check out the link provided for you down below in the description box. They are also a part of our Discord. So feel free to go check them out. Check them out. Yeah. They sell unique shirts, state pride, funny, sassy, sarcastic, pop culture. They do it all. Stated Apparel. Looking good. All right. Yeah. First half was a thing of beauty. It looked like Arkansas was just going to frog stomp Kansas State. Also, by the way, I don't know. Apparently there's some people on Facebook that just don't pay attention. Is it Razorback Nation? Oh, Lord. Some people on Razorback Nation. Look, God loves you if you're a Razorback fan. I get it. But, boy, we've got some fans that are just a little bit behind. The thumbnails during the football season, I believe almost every one of them are going to reflect the game of the week, which is football. Right, or the football game of the week. This week it's Missouri. That's why there was a basketball title in today's show with Blake Kern as the thumbnail with the Missouri, and it says right there, Missouri week. Right? Wasn't week on the thumbnail? Doesn't it say Mizzou week? Like I don't know. I hope they're not victims of some of that fine public schooling. I don't know. I mean, not the wrong public schools. I went to public schools, but there are some public schools, I think, in Arkansas that are lacking. And I'm wondering if a couple of people today fell victim to that, because they certainly seem a little bit behind or a little slow. I don't know, but it says it right there. And even if not, I've been posting on Facebook for years. And I've been doing this thing for the thumbnails all season long, all year long. People just don't seem to get it. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just so it makes me sad more than anything. So, I know I'm going to trigger somebody. Public schools are great in Arkansas. Most of them. I mean, here in Springdale, it's the largest public schooling in the state of Arkansas, and they do a fine job. They do a fine job. I grew up in the Fayetteville public school system. They did a great job. I mean, they did an okay job. All right, Arkansas wins this one, 72-64. Kansas State, who was 2-0 coming into this game, obviously now they're going to fall to 2-1. Hogs will they're going to take on Cincinnati. I watched a little bit of that Cincinnati-Illinois game. Yeah, I mean, you want to applaud Cincinnati. They definitely were the better team, but my God, Illinois just looked terrible. It did not look. They're ranked. Like I just kept saying to myself, like, you put anyone in the shoes of Cincinnati, and they're gonna win. Illinois looked like shit. They did not look good. They didn't look like a tournament team. And we know this, that early on in the year, some teams just struggle to find it. Some teams are just overrated. And I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe they go on and they fine-tune what's going on. They figure out their rotation and everything. And again, I didn't watch the entire game, but that was just some ugly basketball. You got to give credit to Cincy. I get it. You want to give credit to them. They played well, but that's going to be Arkansas's matchup tomorrow at 8:30. I think that's what it said. 8:30 tomorrow. So, am I right on that? Is it 8:30? Someone fact check me on that. So, going to this game, first off, to me, the MVP of the year so far is Odise Toney. I've just been. I mean, it shouldn't shock anyone when you consider his background. I mean, he had a reputation for being athletic, moving up and down the floor well. He plays well. He can kind of do a little bit of everything. I thought he's just, so far this year, he's been the most consistent player. And that first half, you have to give credit to Toney and Connor freaking Vanover. Vanover was a beast. By the way, at the free throw line, he was 12 for 12 until tonight. I think he ended up, 12 of 13? I think it's where he's going to end up on the year. So far, I mean, just phenomenal by Connor tonight. Connor ends up being the most points scored. Now, you had how many different Razorbacks in double digits? You had 24 points coming off your bench. Surprisingly, Ahmoud look at him go. A block, 2 steals, 4 rebounds, 10 points. Got some pretty good production out of him. So you had 24 points between him and Likes. So you had 1, 2, 3. You had 5 different players in double digits tonight. That's a good thing. And I said this at Discord. It's good that messing around with my sound here. It's good that Likes, I think in the first half, Likes and Note combined for 9 points. It's something around that. And yet Arkansas was flat out dominating Kansas State. I mean, that's a good thing to see happen, right? All of a sudden, it's like, if I would have told you that coming into this game that Note and Likes would combine for 9 points through even just 20 minutes of this game, period, even just select a certain amount of time, let's say 15, 20 minutes, you'd be like, what happened? It's like, well, actually, you had an 18-point lead. And Likes, who, again, I don't mind him coming off the bench. I know Musselman likes him coming off the bench. And so that's a good thing, right? I mean, it's not like Williams absolutely dominated on the scoring end. He only had 6 points, but it was Vanover and Toney. Toney, who's so Williams tied Likes, for most points. But Odise Toney was 4 of 8 from the floor, 5 of 7 at the free throw line. He almost had a double-double, 9 rebounds, 13 points, and he had a steal. Arkansas tonight, 7 steals. Kansas State also had 7 steals. So let's go down the numbers really quick. Kansas State, they're good Lord. When did they hit their first 3? Like, it took them 4 minutes or 3 minutes into the second half before they knocked down their first 3. But they were 22 of 59 field goal percentage, so that's just south or just north of 37%. 3 of 22. You have to give credit to the defense. They're playing with their arms and hands up, their fingers fully extended. These guys were doing their best out on the perimeter. They were hustling. They were chasing guys off the line outside. Out of the perimeter. They were chasing them off. They're doing a good job of switching up when they had to outside. You know, they weren't falling for much. It didn't seem like they were a step behind. There were open looks. That's going to happen. You're not going to completely teams are going to figure out ways to get some open looks. They're going to get a couple. There might have been 2 or 3 open looks this entire game, and when you consider they shot 22 attempts, I thought the 3-point defense was phenomenal tonight. I mean, this was reminiscent of Musselman's first season at Arkansas. Very impressed. So, again, you held them 3 of 22 there, and they shot, so that's right south of 14%. Free throw shooting, they were 17 of 23. They started off kind of bad at the free throw line, whereas Arkansas started off, 8 for 8 or 7 for 7 or whatever it was. Free throw, you could argue that free throw shooting is what won tonight. I mean, it's at least why you were able to hold on to this lead. And, of course, Likes was automatic. Connor Vanover was automatic until he missed his 1. Or was it 2? I think it was 1. In the beginning of this, I think part of their problem was getting second chance shots. Talking about Kansas State, they were able to work that out in the second half. They ended up with 12 offensive rebounds, 41 total rebounds to Arkansas's 41. Arkansas's not dominating. off the boards. They're not, and they're attacking. I would say they're down there. They're doing a decent job of boxing out, but they're not doing what you would think they would be doing, especially when you have Jalen Williams and Connor Vanover, who probably logged together at the same time on the floor a solid 20 minutes. Now they did, I want to say when they were both on the floor, they were up 7 or 8 rebounds total when they were both on the floor, but it seems paramount that Jalen Williams and Connor at times are probably going to have to be two guys you rely on getting those second chance shots and getting extra rebounds. Arkansas's turnover to assist ratio not good tonight. 7 assists. The ball movement tonight was atrocious. It was terrible. Arkansas, and we talked about this early on. Some people wanted to argue about it, and I tried telling you guys, like, look, man, they've got a problem at the point guard spot. Musselman's talked about it. He brought up the 1 and the 4 spot. I think they're starting to get that forward spot figured out, but that 1 spot is a problem. JD Note, and they talked about it. These guys on ESPN talked about it. It's dribble, dribble, shoot. Dribble, dribble, maybe drive, shoot. That's all it is with JT and likes. They've got to get this figured out. And I'm telling you, I know they won tonight. They won tonight, and they really held control of this game for 90% of the game. The game, you got to give Kansas State a lot of credit. They changed up what they were doing at half court and completely flipped Arkansas inside out. Arkansas responded, but a big reason why you were able to win this game is because you're knocking down free throws at the beginning of the game and at the end of the game. That was such a huge deal tonight. We didn't think so early on because Arkansas had this huge lead. They were up 18 points. Like, what did it really matter? Okay, they're knocking down free throws. At the end of the game, it was paramount that you hit those ones early and late in the game. But I don't know that you're going to be able to do that against Cincinnati. I don't know that you're going to be able to do that against some of the tougher teams and the tougher opponents in the SEC without your 1 spot at least being better. I'm not saying you got to have an All-American. There have been years where you didn't have a 1, and Arkansas was still a pretty decent team. You didn't feel so good about the point guard spot, and they still put a decent product on the floor. But I don't know. The good news here is that Arkansas has the talent. They've got the guards. They are deep at that position if you want to experiment, right, with Devo likes. JD Note is a pretty damn good defender, but it's just like when he's bringing the ball out, you're just scared to death. He's going to take garbage shots. His shot selection is still, he's a double-edged sword. It's either he is completely on, and I'm not hating on the guy because he's honestly played great all year. Today was his first slip-up. In his 4th game of the year, and it's still really early. Tonight was his first slip-up. He looked terrible. Likes didn't really look as good, but he did better, and he made up for it at the free throw line, right? And look, they're going to drive. I'm going to break it to you guys. They're going to drive, and they're going to get blocks. They're going to get blocked. I think they're going to struggle at times, especially likes. And like they mentioned on the the announcers, that's going to happen, and he doesn't care. He's going to do it again. He's going to do it again. He's going to do it again. He's going to try and draw fouls. He's going to try and do his thing. That's part of what makes him special. He's going to drive the lane, and I love that about him. But I'd like to see more ball movement outside. I'd like to find – and we saw it at times, but it seemed like when they were at their best in the first half is when they were moving that ball around and finding an open big or someone down low to just knock it in with an easy putback or an easy tip in by Connor there. Did you guys see that? Did you see that? Did you see that little tip in by Connor? That's what the hell I'm talking about. That was beautiful. Or finding someone else to just get an easy dunk. It's all about that ball movement directly under the net. And when they were doing that, when they were, again, moving the ball, man, doing what they could inside and out, that's when they were at their best tonight. But then when they started settling for these junk shots in the second half, dribble, shoot. Dribble, shoot. That's not how this works. And so their turnover to assist ratio tonight was atrocious. It was not good. I would say it was atrocious by Musselman standards. 12 turnovers to 9 assists. That's not good. You were one of the top coming into this game, one of the top turnover to or assist to turnover ratio teams. Tonight, you're probably going to fall back a little bit. They ended up rotating 9 guys, but again, they shot. Arkansas ended up playing fantastic. So their scoring leaders. Pack ended up didn't exactly blow up at 3-point range. This is a guy that shot 2% or something coming into the game. He was 1 of 6 tonight. And again, that's just that shows you like Musselman is able to fix mistakes. The question is going to be, can they consistently can they consistently play like that at 3-point range? But yeah, these guys were 3 of 22, man. I mean, that was the key tonight. That was huge for them. But their leading scorers had Miguel and Pack both had 14 points. So Arkansas, again, 36% from the floor, 13% from 3-point range, but they were 79% at the free throw line, 27 to 34. You're going to take that. I've told you guys, anything above, depending on the amount of shots, but anything above 70, 72%, or 72, 73%, you can live with. You're okay. You're doing pretty good. And that's exactly what they did, shooting almost 80%. Your bench production was pretty solid. Ahmoud ended up having a kind of quietly a pretty good game. He had a block, 10 points, 2 steals, 4 rebounds. They did out-rebound them on the offensive end. They ended up 13 to their 12 with 28 defensive rebounds. Again, you had 41. They had 41. You didn't really dominate the glass, but I'm pretty, like, I'm not panicking. If you're panicking from this game, you didn't really watch it. Like, they clearly had it figured out in the first half. Kansas State made some great halftime adjustments, played great half-court basketball, forced Arkansas to kind of reconsider some things. Something that drove me crazy, though, was in the, 4.5-minute mark, and JD's coming out with the ball, and there's zero movement on the floor, and I know they're eating up clock. And then all of a sudden they would start moving, but it was like, why are we doing this with 4.5 minutes to go? I mean, these guys are getting hot. The only argument, I'm curious what Musselman has to say about that. The only argument is, well, we wanted to slow them down, and this was an approach. Let's just try to eat up as much clock. But at 4.5, I think it's about 4+ minutes when they started doing that. And I'm scratching my head like, what is this? Is there a lack of communication on the floor? And Musselman seemed to be fine with it. I saw him doing his usual, his thing that he does. Where he's just kind of didn't really see him yelling at guys to get in position. So I obviously that seemed like a call made by him. I just don't understand it unless I missed something. I mean, tell me if I did. I don't know what that was. I don't know why you play not to lose. In 4 minutes in basketball might as well be half an hour, or it could be. I mean, especially with the final minute or so, with a game tight like that, they're gonna foul. They're gonna do what they can to climb back into the game, and that's exactly what they did. And Arkansas did win. I mean, they won 72-64. I just didn't understand that at 4 minutes. I could understand that at like a minute and a half, but even then they're chasing you and they're gonna try and foul you. So I don't know. Maybe he was. Maybe he was playing chess while the rest of us were playing checkers, and we're just over here like, I don't get it. But they ended up winning. So, I mean, I'm not one, look, man, I mean, Muss is Muss. I'm not saying he's the Einstein of college basketball, but, man, he's got this thing figured out. But I just didn't know about that. And it seemed like they played worse when they slowed this thing down. When Arkansas plays fast, Kansas State wanted none of that. That's when Arkansas, like when they have the pedal all the way down, when they're going full speed, like Arkansas is so difficult to deal with, and that's what I thought we would see up until about 2-minute mark or so. Then you would expect them to kind of slow things down and eat up more clock. But regardless, a win's a win. That first half was a thing. It's just chef's kiss in the first half. Second half, clearly Kansas State made some adjustments, played better half court ball, and Arkansas just played sloppy again. Just terrible shot selection from Likes and JD Note. They got to clean that up because I don't think you can do that based on what I saw. Now, I wasn't blown away by Cincinnati, but they were impressive, and they're undefeated. This is going to be a very interesting matchup tomorrow night. Let me read your chat. Let me read the comment section. Remember, Muss held the ball late in many games. He plays the percentages, and I hate it. I don't remember him doing that at 4 minutes, though. Yeah, you do that at a minute and a half, depending on the score, depending on what's going on, depending on the environment of what's happening on the floor and the crowd and everything. Yeah, at a minute and a half, I understand that. But at 4+ minutes, I don't get that. I really felt like Musselman was wanting to get some end-of-game situational work in tonight. With as hot as Kansas State got there at the end, with as good as they look, I shouldn't say hot, but they got more consistent. They were playing better ball at half court. I don't know that was the case. I really think they were just trying to eat up the clock. This team won't be near as good as last year. Well, I think it's a little early to say something like that, country boy. Country boy, 2280. I think it's a little early to be saying that. We don't know. I'll say this much. The talent level is as deep as it's ever been. Like, you feel good about whoever, typically most of the time, whoever's on the floor. You kind of like the combinations that he has to work with. Now you've got a lot of new faces that are older, right? These are a little bit older players. It's not chock full of freshmen or a mix of the two, but you definitely have a mix of new and old, and so that's something they're going to have to deal with. Country boy's so negative for no reason. Tony Brown says, is an late appearance equivalent to a New York 6 Bowl? Trying to gauge how good Muss's second year was. Tony, that was incredible. That team wasn't picked. I mean, there were a lot of people who didn't think they would get past the first round of the tournament. Even with as good of a class as they had, even with some of the transfers, yeah, that's good. The Elite Eight, I don't know what to compare it to, but I would say the Elite Eight is probably the equivalent. I don't know. I hate doing that because it's tricky, and there's always someone who rabble. But I don't know. I think it's kind of the equivalent, maybe not the College World Series, but better than a Super Regional. Is that fair? It's better than a Super Regional, but it's not the College World Series, if that makes sense. There's not really a college football equivalent because it's like you can compare bowls and then you can compare just the 4-team playoff. There's no real, there's no real in between there. It's either or you know what I mean? Like Not enough pure shooters on this team. Oh boy. I mean, I don't know about that, man. Are you watching these games? Like Likes can knock down threes. Likes can drive the lane. Believe it or not, he's so slippery. JD Note had his first off night. We're seeing them get it done. Connor Vanover is, this is now another night where we're talking about how good he was on the offensive end. Mostly at the free throw line. But still, automatic at the free throw line. Likes, automatic at the free throw line. I think they're in good shape, and it's also way, way too early to say anything like that. Like I just don't think we know. I still think he's figuring out the rotations. I mean, that's clear. Great way to put it, Ty. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to compare sports. It really is. I don't think it's better than a super regional, but it's not like going, because Final Four is the College World Series, right? Like that's the equivalent is making the College World Series in the playoffs in college football. Jackson Robinson is a pure shooter. Saw him knocking down threes early on in the exhibition games and in the red-white scrimmage. I think he looked pretty good. Arkansas will be good by conference time. I hope so. I mean, I think they will. I think they're good now. I don't think they're bad. Laugh out loud, you can't tell yet if K-State is a bad team. They were 2-0. They haven't played anyone up to us. You can't say that without evidence. Oh, country boy. K-State is a bad team. They won 9 games a year ago. I think they're better. I think they got a couple guys back. I think they have a transfer. They've got some size. I mean, they've got quite a few 6'9" guys. They have an active 6'10" and 7-footer. I mean, they have size. I don't know how good they're going to be. I have no idea. Again, it's just too early. Oh, okay. So Country Boy's been carrying on in chat for a while. Okay. Devo hasn't done anything. Well, he's not wrong. Devo hasn't. I mean, he's not wrong. I'm not going to tell him he's wrong here. I don't think he is. Devo's kind of been a little bit of a liability at times on the floor, but we've also seen some positive. Ball movement was great until Likes came in. Yeah, ball movement was great until second half. And it wasn't all on Likes. JD Note settling for shots. Dribble, shoot. That can't be your offense. And they did way too much of that in the second half. Finally, something you said that we can see what happens. Let's see if we get crushed tomorrow. What? Finally, something you said that we can see what happens. Let's see if we get crushed. You're going to have to elaborate on that, Tony. I don't know what you're talking about. Cameron Grace has agreed. It was so bad. I wish we had someone not hate us. Oh, the announcers. Do It seemed we got tired in the second half. I don't know if that was the case. I don't know. They shouldn't have been gassed. I don't think they were tired. I think Kansas State made pretty good second half adjustments. Apparently you can't trash talk in basketball or it's a technical foul. That was the most bullshit technical I've ever seen. That was the most bullshit technical foul I have ever seen, man. I don't know what that was. Like a little bit of John, man. This is basketball. That's what it is. I cannot understand. Of course, these announcers like, oh, it's a good call. Yeah, they should take it serious. It's different like in football when a guy gets thrown into the opposing team's sidelines. And they're all getting all – you remember Treylon Burks earlier this year. That's different. That could turn violent. You've got helmets involved. Not everyone's wearing their helmets. We've seen that before. It can be used as a weapon. We saw that not long ago in the NFL. Of course, that happened on the field, not on the sidelines. But that is different. Jawing and taunting, they're just handled. The NCAA is so weird how they handle it, right? You're going to let guys do an end zone celebration, but then you're going to call like Fouché crossing his arms. And then in basketball, he just kind of turns around and says, what's up? I don't know what he said. It didn't look that bad. I've seen far worse and not get called. Oh, that's a good decision. I like that call. Bullshit. That is just the dumbest thing. I don't know. I thought it was ridiculous. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Share the content. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Yeah. Marco Leon slowed the game down way too much in the second half. It's a good thing K-State really sucks. They weren't very impressive, though, tonight. You know, they came into this game shooting pretty good at three-point range, and they were pretty bad tonight. They were terrible. But I think a lot of that was, again, I think what Arkansas did, chasing them off outside was pretty good. Arkansas stopped passing the ball in the second half. Exactly. Yep. Please tell me the 8:30 is Eastern. I'm pretty sure it's 8:30 Central. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Did anyone correct me on that? Ty, the channel's been growing lately. I appreciate that, Ash. Yeah, it has. We've been doing good. Is Ty live tomorrow after Cincy? Yeah, I'll be live. I'll be here tomorrow. Almost forgot to mention that. I'll be here tomorrow after the game. That second half was so ugly, though. They exposed our issue at point guard. That is exactly what happened. Point guard is point guard's a little problematic for the Razorbacks right now. So Country Boy says, all I'm saying is I haven't been impressed in these first four games. I think it's very important that you understand that it's way too early. There have been some really good teams struggle with lesser opponents this year. We've had a couple of top 25s drop to pretty meh type talent or type teams. That's going to happen. It's early in the year. I don't know what to make of what we've seen so far. Again, it's just too early to say. I don't know. I think you're in. I thought tonight would be a pretty good test. In the first half, I was thinking, I'm so glad I was wrong, but we'll see how this goes in the second half. And then the second half, it was pure just exposure of what Arkansas can't do at the point guard spot. So we'll see if Arkansas can get that corrected. And if they do, oh my God. If they get the one spot figured out, Arkansas is going to be tough to deal with. If they get that settled, if they figure that out, if they figure out the point guard, if they can settle those guys down, and I surely hope we don't see any more of the dribble shoot nonsense, bringing the ball out. That was just crap. The refs suck in every sport anymore. K-State is absolutely atrocious. Hawes guards played the worst game of basketball I've ever seen and still won. Good Lord. Oh, okay. Well, if you say so. I'm just glad that after Friday I could stop hearing Mizzou fans say it's not a rivalry. We've won 5 straight games. No, their fans take it more seriously than Hog fans do. That is just a fact. That's a fact of the matter. They take it more seriously. And I'm not saying Arkansas fans should or shouldn't. I'm not saying they should or shouldn't, but the game means more to them than it does Arkansas, and again, I'm not saying that because Arkansas's lost. I'm not saying that at all. I just think that that's the case. Their coaches have clearly tried to press the issue. They've had players try to press the issue. Nobody down here cares about Missouri. The only thing we care about is ending this embarrassing losing streak to that program. That's it. Speaking of Fayetteville Public Schools, before I became a total agnostic, okay, I don't know what that has to do with anything. What does being agnostic have to do with anything? I substitute taught in Farmington. What does that have to do with? You're gonna have to explain that one to me, my man. Mr. Marquise Visuals. You make these vids fun to watch, good inputs and funny ass opinions, and great viewer interaction. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. The only thing I hate about Mizzou is their fans and their coach. I tell you, man. You saw Drinkwitz at the SEC Media Days. I mean, that dude, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I don't condone violence, man. I'm not a very violent guy. I never have been, but there's just never been a more punchable face that I've ever seen in my life. I'm not condoning, not saying anyone should punch the guy. I'm just saying if it were to happen, I'd probably laugh my ass off. That's all I'm saying. Could you imagine? He just looks like the kind of guy that would go running, like, oh. He's a punk. Someone said in our Discord, I hate that he's from Arkansas. Yeah, he is. I forgot where he's from, but he is from Arkansas. It's not Fayetteville, though. He's not from Fayetteville, so thank God. Do you think Connor will play more in SEC play this year? Country boy, that's a good question. Like I said earlier today, it just kind of depends on the pace of the game. When it's a little bit slower and they can kind of slow things down a little bit and run set plays and do what they do and bring the ball out and get some ball movement, do their thing. Like Connor, did you watch Connor directing traffic tonight? If you get a chance, go back and watch the first half. He's directing guys down in the paint. Like, he's not getting enough credit, man. You got a 7'3" guy that is almost automatic. He's pretty much automatic at the free throw line. He stretches the floor out by knocking down threes, although today he didn't. But he's got a good shot. He's got a clean stroke. Gooseneck, as that guy said today. I've never actually heard that term before, gooseneck. That's pretty funny. He's kind of the only thing you wish he could do is move up and down the floor like Daniel Gafford. You guys remember how well that dude moved up and down the floor? I wish he could do that. And he just can't. He can't keep up with these fast-paced games. He's a little slow getting down to the other end of the court. And I think that's the only thing that slows him down. But I do think, is he deserving of more time? Yeah, definitely. Major fact, Pittman would whoop Drake in a fight. This is how rivalries start, Ty. I don't see them as a rival. They could take that trophy and keep it for all I care. It's the dumbest. It's not organic. It's not an organic rivalry. It's the biggest bullshit thing I've ever seen. You had something in the LSU game at the end of the year. That was a thing of beauty. It's honestly, even though you could argue that was also manufactured, right? The SEC was like, okay, we'll put them at the end of the year since they're, bordering states. And it turned out to be a pretty decent, I don't know that their fans consider it a rivalry. I've never met an LSU fan who ever said that it felt like a rivalry. But there was still a mutual I think LSU fans rib Arkansas fans harder than any other fan base, maybe outside of Florida. And then when Bama and them were both good, you saw a lot of it then. But I think they give it to Arkansas fans, and Arkansas fans give it right back. They rib right back pretty good. Been to several LSU games down at the Rock. I've never actually been there. But then they take that away and they give you this manufactured rivalry. It's what it is. That term has been overused so much. I could give two shits about playing them. The only thing I thought when they matched us up with them, it's like, okay, well, that's an automatic win. That ended up being wrong. And that's what makes it even more embarrassing. That's the only thing about playing them, why I want to beat the living crap out of them on Friday. to end this rivalry and to shut their fans up are Kansas. Nothing triggers me, okay? Arky, when people call us Arky, I just smirk and laugh at it. But when they're like trying to force the issue, they had a linebacker calling us Arkansas like that was supposed to do something. No. I don't care about that. It's the fact that they're trying to make this into something. No. Time to put an end to that. Fakest rivalry for it is. I hate Mizzou. Who do we hate more, Mississippi State or Mizzou? It's clear we hate the rest of the SEC than Mizzou, but I don't really care about Mississippi State. I would say, well, I think Ole Miss is a better, like, that's one. There's actually history there. You know, you go back to, back in the day when they beat us, they had some games on us. Now, I think Archie Manning, didn't he beat us in a big time bowl back in the whenever, back when my dad was probably in school. Like, I feel like Archie Manning, like there's something there. And you can say the same thing about LSU. There's some classic bowl matchups between the two of us. There's something there. With Mizzou, it just feels forced. I don't know. I would love to see the rivalry scrapped, but exactly, we have to beat the crap out of them. Yeah, we do. We do. He's not from Arkansas. He's from Russellville. Right? Okay. I don't know if you're – so are you implying that Russellville's not Arkansas, or are you not aware that Russellville's in Arkansas? Shadow, I think you've been putting them back tonight, my friend. Owl Shadow. Sounds like a X-Man. He didn't quite make the first team X-Men. He's like the third team. He's a Owl Shadow. At least there's a chance we get rid of when Texas and OU join the SEC. Let's go. Replace Mizzou. Well, I guess just kind of depends on what they do. If they do pods or whatever. If they do pods and all this, I mean, but if you get the opportunity to just scrap that game, I hope they do. So, all right. That's going to do it. We will be back tomorrow night. Do yourself a favor if you haven't already subscribed. Give us your Cincinnati Arkansas pick for tomorrow. Oh, I didn't watch enough of that game. You got me there, Joe. You got me. You got me on the spot here. I love Arkansas's talent level. I love how deep they are. I think Muss is going to treat this like a big-time game, and we've seen Arkansas step up in big-time games. But I really liked what little I saw out of Cincinnati today, and they crushed a ranked opponent who I think might be pretty overrated. Well, that's a tough one. I really don't know. I'm going to go Cincinnati. And the only reason is because likes and JD, just the ball hogging, the way they came out, the half court play in the second half was atrocious. They got exposed in the second half, and I wonder if Cincinnati doesn't pick up on that, and in a very short amount of time just mimics what these guys do, because clearly Cincinnati's a better basketball team. They've got better talent than Kansas State. We know the caliber of that program and what they're capable of being. I would probably lean towards Cincinnati. I don't know, by how much. I'm not going to sit here and, I don't know. That's a tough one. Again, we have a really small sample size, and we've seen Arkansas win away from Bud. They did tonight. They did every year Muss has been here. He's won some of these games where you're like, yeah, they probably won't win that one, and they win it, and that could be the case tomorrow. But what little I've seen of Cincy now, to be fair, I haven't done a lot of research on Cincinnati. I really didn't think we'd be playing them tomorrow. I thought it was going to be Illinois, and I kind of like that matchup with Illinois. Don't like this matchup with Cincinnati. But, I mean, anything could happen. I think that what has to happen tomorrow that didn't happen tonight was, number one, get that half court figured out. Get what's going on there. Get that figured out. And that starts with better point guard play. And I don't know how you make that fix in this short amount of time. If you rotate someone else, JD, say what you want about a shot selection, about just how much of a double-edged sword that he is, and I'm going to agree with you, but defensively, that dude is a monster. Defensively, I mean, it's like white on rice, man. I mean, these guys defensively are great players. But on the offensive end, they can just be scary. And if they do what they did tonight in the second half, they're going to get – not only do I think they would lose, I think they'd get blown out. That can't happen again. What happened in this game – and again, you've got to give credit to Kansas State. At a quick glance, I'm not sure about the size of Cincinnati's roster. I think Kansas State's probably a little bit bigger, but I just think Cincinnati's a little bit better. Well, I think they're better. I think they're a lot better than Kansas State. At quick first glance, Kansas State looks like they're probably going to struggle to make tournament play, but then watching Cincinnati, they look like a tournament team. But again, that's based on tiny little sample size. So, hey, Ty, how's it going? I'm glad to make the show. Simplify. Hey, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Ben Glassford says, I got the Hogs tomorrow. We looked great when we weren't chewing clock at the end. Well, I mean, but even before that, though, Kansas State made it a game before that, and that's why they started slowing down the clock. I think Must pump the brakes. So I don't know, but I just got to keep up that pace all game tomorrow. Yeah, they're going to have to play at a really high pace, and, man, they've got to play better at half court. That's just all there is to it. Mike Wilmoss is Hogs 77-75. That's a close game, and that could be the case. Owl Shadow. He's got the Razorbacks 81-77. It could be high scoring, but Cincinnati looked pretty good on the defensive end tonight too. So I don't know. This feels like coin flip. But again, we have a really small sample size of these two teams. Arkansas, though, what do they say? Spurt ability. They can. They could score in a hurry. They can go on these 8-0, 10-0, 12-0 runs pretty quick. And so we'll see if we can get some more of that. I definitely believe the team got complacent with I think so. That could be it too. And maybe they learned from that. And maybe Muss, in the short amount of time that he has, gets that straightened out. So I'll be back tomorrow night after the game. Might be a few minutes. Give me time, but I'll be here. And we can hopefully it's a positive post game. Hopefully it's coming off a win. So again, shout out to Patreon supporters. I don't think we had any super chat tonight, but appreciate you guys in chat in the live show. Those of you watching after the fact, hopefully you guys catch this before the Cincinnati game. But, yeah, I'll see you here tomorrow night around the same time. Go Hogs.